Hi. Jessie still there?
She's coming. We're all three of us are here
All
today.
three of us are here.
Finally. Where is she at?
You know what? Thanks, Miss Hunt. I could take that right now. I'm thinking that you can only have two people in a live video,
No,
which we've never realized before.
for real?
I don't know.
But no, I requested it last time you guys were on.
Just send a request again. We're gonna get started in a second. Guys, I'm pretty sure you're wondering, why is Shireen wearing
Only three.
shades at nighttime? I had LASIK a couple days ago, and it's a different version of LASIK where it's not like immediate relief because I have thin corneas. Long story short, I got to wear shades for a little bit, and that's why I am the way I am. And Austin said you can only have two. Oh my gosh, we didn't think this through, clearly, because we're excellent planners.
Very.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, speaking on Shireen's LASIK, this will be like an excellent opening for the health segments that we'll be having in the future. So, yay. I can't. So this is what was happening last time because I actually was late last week, but I did try to join, and then they were having difficulty trying to add me. So I guess this is what happened. And did she send it?
But Lady Vaughn said you can have what? Your people.
What people?
Oh, it's only two people for live. Well, thanks for letting us know that. We'll figure out a solution for the future.
We're gonna have to probably do a podcast thing to, I don't know.
I already have it. We'll talk about it offline.
Okay. Well, what are we gonna do then? So we just continue or move forward, or do we wanna? No, we don't have a phone.
We can start and then I can tag out and Jess can finish. How does that sound?
That's
good?
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Or what?
I was saying, since you have had your LASIK and you need to recover, we can come back next week with this. What do you think?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm here. I'm committed.
Okay.
So I take it back.
All right.
Rain or
here.
Jess, what do your thumbs up mean? I don't know. But let's get started.
Thank you.
Yes to the lip color. So we're going to talk about that later at the end.
And so you guys stay tuned. All right. Well, this week we were talking about Cyntoia Brown. I hope I'm saying her name properly.
Absolutely.
And just the whole hoopla around it. So what are your thoughts, Shireen, so far?
So just quick background based on what we know so far from this case. Cyntoia Brown is someone that was arrested. I think she was 16 when she was arrested for killing someone that used her for sex trafficking. To be 100% honest, I'm not clear on if you guys know, you guys can, feel free to tag in and fill in the blanks. But I'm not clear on if the person she killed is the person that was pimping her out or if it was a client. But at the end of the day, she killed him after the deed was done, and she killed him while he was sleeping. Mm-hmm. So that was considered manslaughter. But she was 16. So recently they've changed their laws, and I believe she's in, Tennessee? Tennessee?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee.
Okay, just said it's a client. Thank you. So yes, in Tennessee, and they changed the law. So now if you're a minor, you can't be charged as an adult, but she was charged as an adult. So of course, with things like this, the first thing that I think most of us think of, I should say, when I say most of us, most minorities, especially minority women, think of is it's partially a race thing, because if you have a white woman that was in the same situation, it's more likely that they're going to be a little bit more sympathetic towards her case, right, than a black woman. Let us know if you agree or disagree, because we love hearing from you guys as we have these discussions. So now she's in her 30s now, and she was recently granted clemency. And everyone was excited, including me. I'm very happy for her that she was granted clemency. But, and I said this to Isha, one thing that I do think we are kind of overlooking is she was granted clemency, but she's still on parole for 10 years. And I do understand that what she did is considered a crime. But there's still a gap there in this system that we're, here saying, yay, she's free, but she's free with contingencies. What do you think, Isha?
I mean, that's pretty much being Black in America, free with contingencies. But
that's true.
A lot of thoughts about it. First off, I really think that protection of Black women is something that just this country's lacking, and I think that has something to do with like the systemic racism, and even just the generational curses of broken families and such. So I actually just found out, though, you said it too, but I had Wikipedia. I did a wiki on her name, wiki search, and she's 30 now. Like, I didn't know that this had happened so long ago, and I'm actually wondering how. Yeah, like how this had tracked all of a sudden. She's basically a few years older than us. But there is a huge gap in the clemency that she was granted, and that she's got 8 years now of parole. I don't understand why. And I do know with the justice system, it's really flawed, like on so many levels, especially women's rights in general. It was created, or even the foundation had women in mind. I don't know. I'm not really versed in law, but I have seen the injustices when you do turn to law enforcement, or you turn to the courts and you try to seek protection for yourself.
Well, hit pause on yourself for a couple seconds, because I can answer at least one of your questions. All right. Maybe two, but I can't remember the other ones you had. But the first one is, I think it was actually like Rihanna that brought this to light. Someone texted me and asked me why I'm wearing shades. I'll come back to that. Anyway, Rihanna and Kim Kardashian were two celebrities that actually used their social media to talk about this poor girl that was in the situation. I remember your second question, but for everyone just joining, I'm wearing shades because I recently had a LASIK procedure done, and my eyes are super sensitive right now, so that's why. Yeah. Back to you, Isha. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I think I was just mostly like rambling about it, because I feel, again, every time I do talk about the situation, I don't know as much about it. Even now I'm learning a lot about what's going on. But it even went to that point. I don't even know what kind of representation she had. And I know this happens a lot to Black teens. They don't have money. Teenagers don't have money typically, and especially Black teenagers doesn't have money. So she was 15, 16. She was a sex worker, a sex slave, to be clear. Because again, a child at 16 years old, I kind of wanted to touch on the R. Kelly stuff too alongside. I know some people think it's a little bit iffy, but I feel like victimization of children or adolescents, teens, is something that's really huge too. They act like they're grown, but they're not. But the fact that it went all the way there for her to be tried as an adult, and then she got 51 years? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous right there. Not even bypassing women's rights, but she's a child. Like,
and do that. Right. And have you seen, there's this video clip of her it's not interviewed, being when the police are being questioned by the cops, and the cop is saying, like, what did he say? Why didn't you leave? And she said, this man choked me. Why would I leave him? I already knew he wasn't afraid to kill me. He harassed me. He threatened to kill my family. So what's the point? Interrogated. Thank you. I knew there was a word that I couldn't think of while she was being interrogated by cops. And just seeing them just, again, and I'm thinking based on my personal bias, obviously, when I say, they had no sympathy, they'd have sympathy for a white person in that situation. Because again, in my head, I do feel that way. Mm-hmm. Have I gone and watched other interrogations with white women? No. But it would be interesting to go and see how they're treated in that same scenario.
I mean, I can only assume, and of course we can't see everything, but oftentimes when somebody looks like you in a place of, in a higher position, you're likely to show empathy towards that person. Mm-hmm. And Black people, Black women, we're not really represented everywhere. Thankfully, now we're starting to get up and have, be in places to actually make a change or to have a say so. But it's just sad. Even then, while we're talking about it, it brings up the idea of victimization and abuse and just how the mental turmoil that puts on you. And it's sad that oftentimes as women, and I'm going to go even as far as the weaker sex, biologically, we wind up being put in these places where we're vulnerable and we happen to be the victims of men, and people are like, well, or men are like, why didn't you just stand up for yourself? Why didn't you leave? Why didn't you do that? Yeah. Pretty sure if someone was a victim, they wouldn't choose that path. So it's just, I don't know. It's really sad. I remember the other day I had a lot more questions about it, but I think reading now more, and I encourage all of you, everyone who's watching, to read about it more than what you're seeing on Twitter and on Facebook, because a lot of these sort of things happen, not even with young Black women. They happen to young Black boys where they're tried in the court of law and they have really terrible representation. They're just being represented by legal aides who are kind of filling out hours, and we're thankful for them doing their work and their service to become lawyers, but that's not fair. It's just not fair how they do these kids. And even though they say, I don't know the correct law, but they have the right to have representation. It's just it's a great disservice between people who have money and those who don't. And I still even wonder, who was it? What's his name? His name was, who was the victim that she killed? Johnny Mitchell Allen. I wonder who his representation was, or who the prosecutors were for them to go so hard for a sentencing, or for that type of sentencing. Right. I don't know, but back to you.
Thanks, Isha. What about you guys? Do you guys have any comments on this case, or not even this case specifically? Does us talking about this remind you of something else? Have you guys watched interrogations of white women that you could kind of give us some insight on? And you know what, with me saying that, sorry, quick sidebar, that doesn't necessarily relate to this topic, but I think it ties in. Because with me saying that, I do have a bias towards certain things because of my experience. There's this book that I think everybody in the entire world should read called The Undoing Project, which challenges you to question those things that you kind of have in your head as fact. It's about the founders of behavioral economics and studies that they did where they kind of went in the street and said, hey, do you think you're more likely to be successful if you have someone encouraging you all the time, or if you have someone kind of harassing you and telling you you're never going to make it? And people will answer questions like that just based on their personal experience, but it's very hard to convince them that it's not true. But we do that all the time, where we're just kind of like, this is exactly what this should be because this is what I've experienced. But you really do need to kind of take that step back and come out of yourself, come out of your feelings, and be willing to be open to, one, being wrong, and two, kind of doing that legwork to see what the right thing is.
Are you bringing that up because you think, how to explain it, you think that this is how some people who have a path that's different from ours, they may not be able to see what it would be like from a different perspective? So if we were to ask a white woman or a white man, do you think it'd be easier if X or Y, if people were encouraging you and they know from their experience that they're successful because of the encouragement, but they're not able to see that their other counterparts or their brown counterparts may be the ones that are always being discouraged and aren't getting the support they need? Is that what you're
You know, I'm bringing it up for the opposite reason, even though I do completely agree with that. Unfortunately, everything looks even more blurry for me right now, so I can't see what Henry just wrote.
Although, at this point in time, I'm happy for the clemency. Although she's on parole, we have to celebrate the small victories. Parole is so much life in prison, and that's absolutely true.
That's true.
I mean, what was the outrage with the fact that it was just parole? Is it that you want more, or? But even though that is awesome for
me, no, it's not that, because I do think that that's fair. And again, this is coming from someone that doesn't understand the legal system fully. So maybe what I'm saying is completely ridiculous. But, you know, if she were tried as a child at that time when that happened, would she have gotten a sentence for 51 years? Because my understanding of it is the reason that she's on parole for 10 years is because of the amount of time she has left to serve or something like that. So that's what I'm saying. Is that really completely fair? I'm very happy with how this is playing out so far, but I don't want us to feel like, oh, this is a win and this is what we should accept, when this is a win, but we need to remember that the next time something like this happens, we need to keep pushing for the next bigger win until we get equality completely. But going back to why I stated that earlier, and what I said earlier was, you know, I had to challenge myself, and you were asking me if I'm saying that because, you know, on the other side, you want to make sure that they're kind of looking and seeing that we're being treated fairly, right? So actually, I was thinking about this today, and this is just with me, because I'm so quick, and I think a lot of us are just very quick to say, oh, maybe it's because I'm a minority, I'm being treated this way, right? But that's not always the case. Sometimes people just say things because they're saying it, not because they have some sort of bias against you. Yeah. So I've been challenging myself very, very recently, like literally probably within the past week, to say, okay, my first reaction is to be angry about something, but I really need to kind of think from this person's point of view too, because maybe they're not meaning anything harmful towards me, and I'm just feeling that way.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm back.
No, it's okay.
I think John also said, oh, we have more. It's not fair at all. Nothing in the situation is fair. She should be scot-free, but this is America, and she's a person of color, and the powers that be wanted her behind bars. I think another thing about this, which I'm recognizing in a court of law, is oftentimes when you are in front of the judge, your situation is just your situation, and they wind up comparing it to other things outside of that. But it's almost like, if we do this one thing right now, it's the it'll be the protocol for the next thing we do another time. So they wind up old cases to base off their judgment for future cases, and even they use past cases for the judgment for that time. So again, not a lawyer. I'm not from Tennessee, and I don't know a lot about murders, to be quite honest. I personally don't think that the ruling was fair from being a civilian. She's 16 years old. She's a sex worker. She was victimized. And then even saying that she was born with, fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. So they were saying all of these reasons were why she shouldn't be tried so hard for this case. And it still wound up being whatever it was. And I think the whole case was, the fact was that she killed a man in his sleep. Not, again, understanding the effects of abuse every day, feeling victimized and having to do something against your will. And oftentimes you're just there on that day, they're looking at what you did and the outcome of what you did, and that's it. The gavel is hit and you're done. So I don't know. And another thing too, I know that oftentimes victims, once they react, they don't really get a chance to, they don't get second chances. Like, oh, you reacted and you did an extreme reaction. I can't believe you did this. But these are the people who are causing the crime or doing the victimization. They get chances over and over again. Maybe you won't do it next time. Oh, they didn't mean it this way. And that's just something I think again, that's just me trying to segue into the R. Kelly stuff. We keep seeing, even then, with men abusing women, they get chances all the time, all the time. And it's just something that I feel from here on out, which I think is why we should celebrate the clemency, is at least the law went back and looked and said, hey, I think we should have done something different, or we probably shouldn't have done this in the first place.
Right.
Now it's a mark where people can stop and think, just like you're saying, and take a step back from the situation.
But did they though? And this is why I say this, because the governor granted her clemency. This wasn't something that kind of went through, because I should have done my homework, but I'm having trouble seeing, so I'm going to use that as an excuse for right now.
Sure.
Because I know something had happened the week before where people were super hopeful, like, oh, they're re-looking at some cases, maybe she'll be one of them, and that didn't happen for her. And then that's when there was kind of that push towards, call the governor, request she's granted clemency, and that's when that happened. So I feel like this is more us as a people banding together and really pushing and saying, hey, this isn't right, you need to look at this one specific person.
Yeah.
And then what happens to the other people in similar situations like that, because they're still there, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I really don't know, honestly. Again, it's difficult because there's so many people behind bars for no reason, or who haven't had proper representation.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many stories that are not heard because, again, crimes happen every day. And the judge is just trying to get through his day and resolve the case. So I don't know how, as people, citizens, we can find a way to have proper representation and proper justice to everyone. I don't know. I think the best way my only solution is, if this is your passion, get in there and be the one behind the judge, or behind the gavel, so to speak, or be the one that's representing your people.
With that being said, because last week Jessica and I talked about with all the R. Kelly stuff happening, mm-hmm. how can you be the change that you want to see, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, I think we shy away from trying to be that change because it takes work. Like, it's not easy to be changed. It's like time out my day where I could be sitting down and watching my show. And that sounds, I don't even necessarily know that that's selfish. It's just, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. So what are ways that you can, I hate to say it like this, but easily make a change? Because I think that's what people kind of want to be able to do, where they feel like, oh, I'm making a difference, but it didn't take too much of my time.
Mm-hmm. I would say,
you guys think too?
This way. Well, yeah, that's actually, yeah, from our viewers, what do you think is a good way to make an easy change, or to just do something different and to make a difference in your community that's, I don't know, that you can fit into your everyday life? My suggestion would just be, much like we're doing right now, is we're talking about it on social media, or you can even talk about it in conversation. I know sometimes people go to work, or people are out and about, and they don't like to get too political, but you don't have to get too political to bring attention to some things. It could be one small comment that can get your peers thinking, or your colleagues thinking about just the injustices that other people that aren't like you experience. What do you think, Shereen?
Are you asking me specifically?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was just a question you were throwing out there. I think, so for example, with this whole Centoya Brown thing, I know that there was this kind of push to call the governor's office, right? So I did call the governor's office. Did I call the right person? I don't know. No one ever answered. I tried calling twice. I left a message. But I did kind of leave feeling like, okay, I'm actually trying to do something. It was something that didn't take too much time out of my day. I was able to do it on my lunch break. I sent it to other people like, hey, I don't know if you've heard about this case, but if you feel moved, can you, go ahead and call. This could be any of us at any time. Someone's throwing out suggestions.
Yes.
Something about a town hall.
Town hall meetings. Hall meetings deal with a lot that happen in local communities, and your voice there can always make a difference. Mm-hmm. I should look that up because I've never even I know like you get that those in your communities you get mail about what's happening.
Right.
You know, so you check that out. But I'm gonna Google that for sure.
I like that one. Another thing that I actually started doing with the Andrew Gillum campaign is going to local meetings. Because at the end of the day, this all kind of still goes back to the politicians that you have in office. Are you having people that actually advocate for you? You know, either side, left or right, doesn't matter, you know, what side you're on. You still want to have people that actually care about the things that you're going through and you care about. So that's another thing that I've been trying to work more towards because it is something that I personally am lacking in.
Mm-hmm. I think that's an excellent idea, though. I'm gonna have to check that out for sure. I'm just at a blank right now. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. We're about out of time.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Sorry to make it today. But we're gonna figure this out.
Yeah.
We were all here, and just to recap, you guys try to find something, I don't know, like your homework this week. Try to find a small way to make a difference in your community. One of the suggestions was to go to a town hall meeting, look that up, just see what you can do. Google is your best friend. For sure. Next week we're going to meet next week, and we're going to try and find a way to have Jessica on with our broadcast. Maybe we'll change the way we do our broadcast overall. We'll do to get all three of us on here. I have no idea. But
and if you guys have suggestions, let us know, please.
Because I really enjoy doing this, and we enjoy your engagement. Our social media page is coming very soon, so keep an eye out for that. We're going to have our own Instagram, Twitter, and email address. You guys can submit topics that you'd like for us to talk about, even here down below. I've always wanted to do that. You guys can
look down below, add it there. I feel like my nails should be done for that.
Right. You guys can suggest topics that you think you would like to hear our perspective on. We're really thankful and happy for Centoya and her clemency. So she'll be out in 8 months, is it so? Or, yeah.
It's in August, right?
Yeah, so she'll be out really soon. Very thankful for that. And this is just one small step. We're also praying for the people out there that are affected by the government shutdown, even though it's all of us. I just wanted to shout that out really quick. Yeah.
But they still took the taxes out our checks, though. I'm just saying. So
injustice everywhere.
I'm bitter. No.
Jessica, if you're still on, what lipstick color are you wearing? Shireen, what are you wearing today?
I kept it simple. I'm wearing Fenty Gloss Bomb. Fenty's never simple, so I didn't keep it simple. But I'm wearing Fenty Gloss Bomb in Fussy. I wore it on top of something last week, but now I'm just wearing it on top of me.
The newest color. Fussy?
Huh?
Is that the newest color? The newest color?
It's Fussy.
I love it.
I really like it.
I also am wearing Fenty, but I'm wearing Shouty and Freckle Fiesta. Like on the Freckle Fiesta is my favorite. Orange is my color this year. Yeah. And Jessica is wearing Sephora Wonderful Purple. So sorry you guys couldn't actually see it. She looked beautiful.
Oh, I have an idea. I'm gonna catch you and see if she can come.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye. Jessica, send a request to me. She's coming, guys. Sephora, Wonderful Purple. I feel like I should just fill in the blank space right now. Oh, hey.
I hate this.
I know. We'll figure it out. Show your lip color.
So much.
It looks like your internet's trash anyway, so.